India has one of the largest growing middle classes, and being the largest democracy, it is the responsibility of the adults in this country to keep educating themselves. The country is growing at a rate of 10% GDP, and it is the fastest growing democracy in the world. In order to support families, adults work during the day, and that's the reason why most adult education takes place at night. You have a lot of night colleges, you have a lot of universities who are offering online courses, you are having weekend courses, you are having correspondence courses to make sure that people who have to work to support their families are able to get an opportunity to educate themselves and complete their graduation. Some of the courses in which you can do your adult education would include commerce, arts, science. You also have professional courses like engineering, architecture, interior design, commercial art for the sake of adult education. A lot of MBA programs, that is management courses, are available these days where people who have completed their education can opt for an online MBA course. The advantage of doing an online MBA course is that your eligibility for a promotion increases, the amount of salary that you get in an organization rises, and your scope or your career prospects improve. Okay. Next up. Listen to the verbs, catch the verbs. Next topic. Throw a topic, quick. You have to be fast.
Himalayan.
Okay, great. The earth is blessed with 5 great mountain ranges, and the largest range is the Himalayas. Along with the Himalayas, you also have the Andes and the Alps, and you have the Rockies in North America. The Himalayan ranges extend right from Afghanistan and Russia in the west, all the way into China and Mongolia in the east. The highest peak on earth is Mount Everest, which is 8,849 meters. In fact, of the top 10 peaks in the world, 6 are in the Himalayas. India has historically been protected from invaders from the north, thanks to the Himalayas. And Mount Everest, being the highest peak, is not in India, it comes in Nepal. The highest peak in India of the Himalayas is K2, that is Kanchenjunga. And Himalayas, apart from protecting us from the northern invaders, has also been the source for some of the pure water rivers that we have in our country, namely Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Indus, and the 5 rivers of Punjab, that is Chenab, Jhelum, Satluj, Ravi and Beas. These days, icebergs and glaciers in the Himalayas are receding thanks to global warming, and there is a huge scare that if this global warming and this receding of the glaciers takes place, water levels in the sea are going to rise, and we are going to be seeing a lot of floods that would take place. We are looking at a lot of cities getting submerged in the next 25 years if the water level were to rise even by 1 meter. So it is very important for us to protect the Himalayas. It is very important for us to ensure that global warming is contained, okay, and carbon emissions are reduced so that we are able to increase the life of the glaciers. Himalayas are also a huge tourist spot in our country. The Shivalik hills, which are the base or the foothills of the Himalayas, have a lot of tourist attraction that takes place. The animals and the vegetation that you see in the Himalayas is very different from the vegetation you would see in other mountain ranges like the Sahyadris or the Vindhyas in India. Once in a while, I would request that you should consider visiting the Himalayas once in your life, because that's an experience to be had if you are in India. Thank you. Next. Come on यार, टॉपिक सोचो यार। वो जो मैंने वाला वही मेरे को सुना, उसके बाद आया ही नहीं है, सोच ही नहीं है क्या? हाँ? अच्छा ठीक है, पर मेरे को चैलेंज नहीं यार। Come on with stuff which I can't talk on. That is the challenge.
Cruelty to animals.
No, cruelty to animals. Okay. When Charles Darwin talked about survival of the fittest, I'm sure he had never thought that this would include cruelty to animals. But when we look around us, we see that the more powerful we humans become, the more we oppress or suppress the weaker animals or the weaker living organisms. And animals are one of the most important victims of our cruelty. We kill animals for food, we kill animals for their fur, we kill animals for research, okay? We kill animals as food for other animals. So animals are in fact grown so that they can be killed. You look at the entire poultry farm business, or you look at shrimp farming, or you look at prawns, you look at all these animals, goats. They are grown, they are bred. That's the right word. They are bred so that they can be cut and used as food. So in a way, while humans can forgive themselves by saying that they are higher on the living cycle and hence they have the right to kill animals, but they need to remember that animals also have life. There is existing in the animal a life created by God, and we don't have the right to extinguish that life. We need to learn to nurture that life. We need to understand that animals are our friends. We need to understand that our survival on this earth, our existence on this earth, will only become more and more peaceful and happier if we include animals as partners in this progress. If we choose to disregard this, if we choose to be cruel or practice cruelty on animals, someday we will see that there are no animals, and if there are no animals, there is going to be a great impact on nature around us, because nature always balances itself. One animal is always eating another animal, and that maintains a balance. When humans get involved, we invariably spoil the balance of nature, and the storms, the tsunamis, the earthquakes, and the floods that we see are basically an indication that humans have started imbalancing nature. So there's a lesson we need to take from this. We need to understand that we need to practice humanity by being kind to animals. Thank you. Next.
China.
China. Yes. One of the most important visits in my life was when I visited China in 2005, rather 2006. I chose to visit China because I had heard so much about the country, and from the time that it was a communist nation, after the Tiananmen Square, there was a lot of change that had taken place in China. So I felt it important to go and visit the country. I was amazed at the size of everything that I saw. I was amazed at the spontaneity of the people. I was amazed by the desire in the people to work. They have a very strong work ethic. In China, when you go to shops, you have people who carry their lunch boxes with them. You don't have shops which close down during the day. You have people sitting right from 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock in the evening in that one shop and trying to sell goods. This is something we don't get to see much in India. We always see that during lunch, the afternoon hours, you have shops that are closed and people go home and sleep. I didn't see people sleeping in China. That's one of the reasons why China as a country has become the production house for the world. More than 70% of global production, or if not 70, at least 60% of global production today takes place in China. Important cities in China include Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, Nanjing, Guangzhou, and China has a very clear export-oriented policy. Majority of the production that takes place in China is for the sake of European and American manufacturers who have outsourced their production to China for the sake of cutting costs. And this has been one of the main reasons that China has become the richest country today. It has reserves of more than $3 trillion. It is having the largest gold reserves. It has now started buying mining leases from countries in Africa and South America so that they become mineral powerhouses in the next 10 to 15 years. China has also started encouraging its citizens to start buying gold because they have started losing faith in the US dollar. And the biggest scare that USA today has is that of all the treasury bills that China owns, if China decides to sell all those treasury bills, the US economy, which is currently anyway facing a huge federal revenue deficit, is going to crash and the country is going to go bankrupt. So in a way, USA might have the largest army in the world, but China is the most powerful country in the world. If there is one thing that India needs to learn from China, it is to have much better work ethic, to work as teams, to believe that they can start late in a war and they can still win the war. India is considered